الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن أشهد أن أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Brothers and sisters, I want you to imagine that you're at home spending time with your family and you receive a knock on the door. You're confused who it could be. You weren't expecting anyone. You open the door and you see a salesman. You're ready to tell him, no thank you, I'm not interested in whatever you're here to peddle. But they say, sir, if I can just get one moment of your time, I have a very unique timeshare proposition for you. And you said, I've heard of these timeshares of having some property for a little bit of time in a place like Florida or somewhere else. I'm not looking for that right now. But he tells you that I'm talking about a special timeshare. You'd have this for the rest of eternity. I'm essentially promising you a piece of paradise. A special place in paradise. Forever. You're intrigued, and so you start asking him to tell you more. And he tells you of the different requirements, the Quran, the Sunnah, the things that we know. And then he tells you, now, which tier of paradise do you want to be in? We have the top suite, the top layer, the top level. We have the middle layer, and then we have the bottom layer. The benefits, the exclusivity of the top layer is closer to the throne of Allah. It's where the prophets are. It's where the martyrs are. It's where the truthful are, the righteous are. So where would you like to be? Do you want to be in the penthouse or do you want to be on the ground floor? Now obviously, if any one of us were asked this question in any hotel in this world or even in our furnishings in the hereafter, all of us would obviously want to be in the best place possible. And this is what we're taught from the Quran and Sunnah as well. The Prophet says that when you ask for something, when you ask of Jannah, don't just ask of the least. Don't just ask that, I just hope I can just get one foot in and I'll be happy. I just somehow, if I can drag my way in, I'd be happy. No, the Prophet said instead, when you ask for Jannah, ask for Al-Firdaus. Ask for the highest level. And so you ask this man, this person who is promising shares of Jannah for an eternity of time. And he said, what are the criteria to be at the different levels? I want to aim for the highest. And he narrates to you a hadith from the Prophet ﷺ, wherein he says, I guarantee, Prophet ﷺ himself, the Messenger of God, says, I guarantee a house in Jannah in the lowest rung, meaning the level 1 right now. I guarantee a house in Jannah for the one who gives up arguing even if he's right. You're around the dinner table, you're talking with family, and someone says something incorrect. And you try to politely correct them. But then they're still insistent, and you start arguing, and you know you're right, and so you're going to hammer it into them. You're going to make sure they know that you're right. And they're going to continue on arguing, and they become known as a debater. They become known as someone who picks fights everywhere they go. Everything becomes a debate. And this person is very logical, very smart, right? And they like to even show off their intelligence, their wit, their cleverness through constantly arguing. Prophet promises a place in Jannah for someone who gives it up even if they're right. And the deeper meaning, one might wonder, why would you not want to say that which is right? The point of this hadith isn't that. You may share it once, but the point is to get into that habit of arguing, that you become known as a person that is an arguer. You see this person, this person's going to stir up trouble. This person's going to make me feel really bad about me, having a certain opinion. Right? No, instead this person, the ideal person in this case is someone who may be polite, but at the same time they're gentle with people. They're someone that people want to be around. As the Prophet ﷺ said, the best among you is the one whom you are safe from their tongue and their hands. Meaning that when you're around this person, you're not worried that they're going to look at you and make a comment about what you're wearing, or your weight, or your intellect. They're not going to make fun of some part of you and make you feel lesser of yourself. And they're also someone who's not going to come in and immediately put you in a headlock and hurt you, or someone who pushes you around, or someone who's physically assaulting you. Both from a verbal and physical perspective, you feel safe around this person. That is a person who is guaranteed a house in Jannah. And the Prophet continues, and he says that I guarantee a place in paradise, a house in Jannah, in the middle rung, in the middle tier of paradise, to the one who stops lying, even if it isn't just, even if it is for fun. So many of us, especially in our American vernacular, get used to the idea of being very sarcastic. And it's something all of us can work on, including myself. We can be very, very sarcastic with other people, and they say, "Oh, what time is it?" "It's 7 p.m. And they're asking you this right now. And they know it's not 7 p.m. But they're saying it in a way to make you feel like, well, what time do you think it is? Or they tell someone that, oh, right now behind this house, behind this masjid, there's a Ferrari waiting for you. And the person runs out there and they don't see anything. And they said, I'm just kidding. I just wanted to pull your leg. I just wanted to see how you'd react. And they're trying to make everyone laugh, right? It's one of the lowest parts of humor, using lying. And the Prophet ﷺ is calling us to something higher than that. And one of the reasons for that, if you really reflect on this, it's not just a random thing the Prophet ﷺ is mentioning, but rather it goes back to the character of a Muslim. The first one was what? It was about not arguing, right? Being someone who has higher aspirations in the way they talk. And then the second layer the Prophet ﷺ is adding on top of this is a layer that's not easy. We have a propensity sometimes where we want to say what we call might be a white lie, right? We might have a propensity where we want to say something to make others laugh, and therefore we might say some lies. But what happens to the person that you're saying this to? That when you are actually being serious, it's possible they won't believe you. Like the boy who cried wolf, right? When eventually he kept on saying that, oh, I see a wolf, and at the point when he actually saw a wolf, no one believed him. It's possible that you become known as such a jokester that somebody wants to take you seriously and they can't. And it's possible that they'll see you then as someone who's just a comedian. You're not someone who should be taken as a person, a role model. And then the Prophet ﷺ says, and I have guaranteed the highest point in paradise, the highest place in paradise for the one with good manners, for the one with good conduct. If you did not know this hadith, if you hadn't heard it before, this could be very surprising. We get so used to that when we talk about habits, that we think that the person who will have the highest point in paradise is the one who prays the most, is the person who fasts the most, is the person who gives sadaqah the most. These are all extremely important, don't get me wrong. But more important than any other deed, more important than just ibadah, is akhlaq, is this good manners. Because when you're doing ibadah, it's just between you and Allah. But when you are having to show your conduct, that's you at all times. When you're talking to other people, when you're involved in business, when you're with your family, when you're with your friends, when you're at work, at all circumstances is when conduct comes to play. And that's when you see the true mettle of the believer. That's when you see the true characteristics of the believer. That it should be easy to spot us and say that you must be Muslim based on the way that you act, based on that integrity, that morality that you bring. Once the Sahaba came to the Prophet ﷺ, and they said, there is a woman in this certain community. She is known to pray a lot, to fast a lot, and to give a lot in charity. She's known to be a great person in her ibadah. But she always inflicts harm on her neighbors with her tongue. You know that if you're trying to leave your house, and sometimes maybe you're trying to pass it by quick because you know if you're there for too long, that neighbor who's out in the driveway is probably going to say something. You don't want to see them. You might have a neighbor in your apartment that every time they say they have some type of comment to make. And so you try avoiding being near them. So this woman was similar to this, that she always had something sharp to say, something that would really hurt people, and she knew how to hurt them specifically. And the Prophet ﷺ said, she's in the hellfire. All of that fasting and praying did not make that person a better person because they didn't internalize the message of that prayer. They didn't realize that when they're putting their forehead on the floor in sajda, in prostration, that it means that they should humble themselves, that they should be better to people. They didn't realize that the charity they're giving isn't because they're a great person that can give, but rather they're giving a chance to help those in need. And that Allah blessed them with the ability to give people in need. No, none of that translated. And that's why the manifestation of their ibadah did not turn into better character, and therefore all of their ibadah was for nothing. And on the flip side of this, the Prophet ﷺ, when encouraging us to have good manners, as narrated in Abu Dawood, he mentioned that those of you that have good character, good manners, you will get the reward of someone praying all day, of someone praying all night, and someone fasting all day. And another riwayah mentioned that those of you that are grateful for what you have, for your food, for your provision, you will get the reward of someone fasting for that day. SubhanAllah. All of this ibadah that we do is not just so that we can get some exercise and burn some calories going up and down. It's supposed to teach us a lesson to be a better human. That when we fast, we think of those that don't have as much. When we give charity, we think about those that don't have as much. When we pray, we realize that we should be more humble. If we do not learn from the ibadah we do, then it was nothing more than just going up and down. As the Prophet ﷺ said about fasting, that if you do not abstain from sins and being immoral when you're fasting, then your entire fast was you just being hungry. You didn't get anything else from it. You just missed lunch. That's all it was. This is the importance of good character. That we don't want to be of those that outwardly we're like, MashaAllah, look at him. He's such a good person. But then his family is terrorized by him. He has no real friends. People don't want to spend time alone with him. People never invite him to things because they're scared of the way that he might act. Such a person, the Prophet ﷺ talks about that on the day of judgment, they will come with mountains and mountains of good deeds. Their fast, their prayer, their charity, their Quran reading, their sadaqah, all of that. They come with mountains and mountains of good deeds. And then it is said that, did this person backbite others? Yes. Take some of those good deeds and give it to the person that he has backbited. Did this person talk ill or bad about others? Did this person lie about other people? Yes. Take good deeds from him. Did this person hurt other people with his words? Yes. Take good deeds from him. Until he has no good deeds left. His mountain of good deeds that he thought was going to save him turned into rubble, literally. Everyone else got his share of good deeds because of the way he hurt them. Now is payback. Now he's paying back his debts. Until he has no good deeds left and he is sent to the fire. May Allah protect us from this. Good deeds and good conduct is something that seems so easy, but it is in fact the most difficult thing. Because you can't just pretend to smile. It's not like just a job interview where for 5 minutes you go in and you smile and they're like, oh, that's a great person, maybe they can work. No, this is your whole life we're talking about. There's no downtime when you're like, I had a long day, I deserve to be angry. This is my son, I can hit him if I want. These are my friends, I get to talk to them the way I want. Oh, they know where I'm from in the world. I'm from this country, don't you know we're allowed to say these things? No, none of that. We're all called towards better actions. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Brothers and sisters, to leave us with some practical steps on how we can be better, I want you to focus on just one action, which is focus on your friends and family. And first off, being a good role model to them. And number two, making sure to situate yourself in a way that you can benefit from them as well. What do I mean by that? All of us have friends or influences or colleagues or acquaintances that when we are around them, we know what type of jokes will be said. We know what will be discussed. We know those friends that are just into football or just into sports. We know those friends that just like gossiping, that just like backbiting, that just like talking badly about other people. And then we know other people that enjoy talking about Islam, that enjoy talking about the deen. We know of people that maybe they don't always talk about the deen out loud, but their character makes you want to be a better person. The way they smile makes you feel better. The way that they treat people around them, the way they treat a waiter as a fellow human being and not just someone who's there. All of those things make you say, man, I should be a better person. Those are the people that you should be around. And more importantly, you should be one of those people. Your family learns from the way that you interact. Many times we think we're always on the receiving end. And it's so easy to get riled up with family. They're always around you, right? You could be 5 years old, you could be 55 years old, but your parents still know what buttons to press with you. Your kids will know that one thing that goes under your skin. Your siblings will always know what you like and don't like. And therefore, sometimes they could say something really simple, but you have a lifetime of things that happen that suddenly might come out. Be the best with them. You can't hide who you are to your family. Especially if you're married, I mean, you're living with the person the whole time. So with them, try your best to be the best. And it's hard. You will make mistakes. But the goal should be that I always want to get better in this. That inshallah, that when we pass away and our families are asked, how was this person? We don't want them to say, thank God they're gone. We want them to say, I thank God they're in a better place. But I miss the way they were with me. I miss their characters, and I'm trying to be a better person because of the things that they taught me. All of us can be better in our conduct. The Prophet ﷺ tells us, and I'll end with this hadith, that the best of you are those that go out and interact with people even if it is difficult. And that is better for you than just being by yourself and just only being engaged in worship. And as some Sahaba mentioned, that for me it's more beloved that I take care of other people than I just do itikaf in the Prophet's masjid. That our religion is a religion that is about taking care of one another as a community. And the first step towards that, the building block towards that, is that each one of us should try our best to have outstanding character. Let us be that person that has a smile on their face, even if they're having a hard day. Let's be that person that never crosses a certain line, no matter what type of day they're having. Let us be that person that others look around and want to be us, and not want to be away from us. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. هل أتاك حديث الغاشية وجوه يومئذ خاشعة عاملة ناصبة تصلى نارا حامية تسقى من عين آنية ليس لهم طعام إلا من ضريع لا يسمن ولا يغني من جوع وجوه يومئذ ناعمة نمارق مصفوفة وزرابي مبثوثة أفلا ينظرون إلى الإبل كيف خلقت وإلى السماء كيف رفعت وإلى الجبال كيف نصبت وإلى الأرض كيف سطحت فذكر إنما أنت مذكر لست عليهم بمسيطر إلا من تولى وكفر فيعذبه الله العذاب الأكبر إن إلينا إيابهم ثم إن علينا حسابهم. الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله